This is a classic SGB. We see Galio mid for Froggy. We see an unusual bot lane. We see the Vietnamese Croc series rear its head in Renekton top. I really like SGB's draft, and they're already a better team, so that's 1-0 for them.
Yeah, the one problem I do have is potentially Uji being able to jump out of a fight and kite around the outskirts. Like, if you throw BJ, Hosmed, and Froggy into one place, the only thing that you could really test that positioning with is the Seraphine ultimate. And once again, Taki has like a 5% hit rate on that, so I'm a little worried about that prospect. But they have a mean team fight, and they're ready and raring to go in the first game of AS Esports up against Saigon Buffalo as they attempt to qualify for playoffs. As once again, Carrick and Yowei will be leading us into this one. Give us all of your fine opinions about Nyla, gentlemen.
Well, I actually do want to talk about Nyla your way, because SGB are sitting in the shadow of Garm. But as Rebel said, SGB are our main characters. They need to hit the peak of their story. They need to hit that moment where they ascend to godhood. Do you know what that's called in a story your way? A moment of triumph. It's called their apotheosis. Do you know what Nyla's ultimate is called your way?
Apotheosis?
Here we go. It's the same word. This is it. This is SGB's apotheosis. They're about to become the gods. They're about to win this game and go on and win worlds.
I'm ready for it. It's also Taki Seraphine, so let's go. I was hoping for the Soraka. They teased the Soraka. I was already getting really excited for the Soraka, but Seraphine is fine too. It's easier, I guess. So let's see if Taki learned to aim some of his ultimates, as Rebel will be very, very disappointed if he doesn't. I was so looking forward for this Nyla Senna lane, though. That would have been POC, but let's see what they do.
Definitely would have been very, very fun. But, I mean, look, we've got to talk about Nyla. It's the first one in the VCS. I am yet to cast it. I'm even yet to play it or play against it. So I'm very interested to see this champion. Your way, what are your opinions on the Whip Lady?
So, I've played her a few times in my experience, but... Oh, we have a little bit of a fight here. Nyla, ooh, cleanse used. They're level 2 now.
It's very dangerous to fight that, because now level 2 comes in, slipstream forward, and it will be Shogun picking up first blood, moving in onto Uji as well. Oh no, you just can't fight against this Nyla this early. Doesn't quite get that last whip crack, but it's a huge win for SGB.
Well, I absolutely disagree with that in general, because Nyla in the early game is not a good champion. But if you just walk into her and give her a free E onto you and Conqueror stacks as well, then she's pretty good. Now you're in a really bad position, because Nyla already generates more experience. You can see they're level 3. They got extra experience. They zone the enemy of the wave, or they killed OG, so he doesn't get the wave. So they're now constantly ahead by... It's soon going to be at least a level. So that's the perfect start for Nyla on our VCS here, because usually... Oh, this might be the severe hand stuff we were talking about in preparation, already rearing its head, because SGB, they are not a very generous team against worse teams. They just obliterated Genius last week, of course, in 17 minutes, so we might be in for another one of those, and yeah, why not?
It may well be, but let's have a look at the replay. Oh, BJ, just rude. Biggie... I feel like you can't do this if you miss the Q.
Yeah,
you got the blue. Why fight this?
So he's very close. If he hits the Q, he actually wins against BJ, and BJ did W over the wall. So it makes some sense. It's just unfortunate that he mis-executed, and in the end, it's a kill over to BJ, who's now he also got the blue, of course. So without having to steal the blue, he got the blue transfer anyway. Buff transfer completed, BJ in a really good position to just farm it out to 6 and then try to accelerate into probably the bot lane with a lot of combination potential with Taki ultimate, with Shogun Apotheosis, and the cool thing about Nyla lanes is they actually have almost the same level curve as the jungler. As you can see, they hit level 4 here, so it's really easy to sync up level 6 with the jungler, because of the extra experience Nyla shares with her support and herself. She gets to be a little bit higher in level than you usually would expect from an ADC.
For sure, and we got a little bit cut off due to the flurry of action. I still wanted to get your opinion on this champion overall, because so far it's had not the best start in pro play.
Yeah, I've been very disappointed with this champion. Mostly because I kind of failed to see what her thing is. So she reads really cool to me, and I looked at this champion design and was like, oh, I really want to try this. This sounds so cool. Enchanter synergy. I mean, I'm all about enchanters, as you know, so I thought, oh, this is gonna be a champ for me. But she just feels a little bit weird to me, because you want to play her like a Diana with her ultimate, go in, go for the big CC, but then her ultimate doesn't actually deal that much damage, and you're much more focused on auto attacks than, say, Samira. She doesn't feel as smooth as Samira either. It's a champ I really like to play. So I'm still conflicted. I don't think she's bad per se. Her win rate in solo queue is actually really good. Her win rate in pro not the greatest, but that's to be expected. A ranged champ without range in bot lane is just really hard to make work. But for me, the thing that's my biggest gripe with this champion is just her identity doesn't feel very defined. She's just, I'm still trying to figure out what she's actually trying to do. She's definitely a very strong late game team fighter. But is she the main carry, or is she more like a supportive cast? I don't quite know.
Oh, Froggy doesn't quite nail the flash, but stuffs the engage from Biggie, so he will get out.
Oh, there we go. Oh, Taki, that's very overextended.
Taki taking a lot of damage, but does manage to retreat. The last tick of Ignite, not going to be enough. Needs to play this very careful. BJ's here to cover, but I don't think they can go for this dive.
Very surprised that they don't really have that big of an experience advantage right now. Shogun is still level 5. He should be close to 6. Especially considering Xin already hit level 6. With Nyla extra experience. Should be relatively close here. Playing it aggressively, and there he goes.
Level 5.
Yeah, but usually you get more than a level advantage after that solo kill. So that, yeah, Xin hitting level 5 before Shogun hit level 6 kind of surprised me there. Good ward though from AS Esports, completely spotting out BJ's movement on the side. Shogun is still here. He wants his apotheosis. He wants to become a god already in this game. And now we can really look forward to some really cool combos, because I think I'm looking at Seraphine and Nyla together. That's explosive.
And a Wukong and a Galio.
Yeah.
There's some wombo. Biggie moves up the top side. It is just going to be the Krug steal. They're not going to try and go under tower, as we have gone back to the Renekton Gnar. We don't need to talk about this matchup, though. Let's be real. It's been done to death. We want to keep our eyes on the new champion, as Taki going for a walk.
Yeah, by the way, Taki's a level ahead of Biggie. He's the support.
Yeah.
This is also one of Nyla's, like, the hidden power of Nyla is maybe more pronounced than the power than what she shows in team fights.
You need to get away. No, it does just smite it down, has that Vault Breaker as well, so he's okay.
Enabling the support and actually giving so much experience over, and does stuff like Rift Hold swap. Suddenly, your support always hits level 6 for the Rift Hold swap at 8 minutes. As you can see, Taki level 6, it's really hard to get your support to level 6 for the Rift Hold initial spawn. Usually, if you swap at 9 minutes, you can get to level 6, but 8 minutes is almost impossible. Not with Nyla. So suddenly you have much more potential here. Uh-oh.
They've called Galio up. They've got 3 here. LLT backing off
Still
very early. Can BJ find the damage? He certainly can.
Beautifully played from BJ as well. So much patience shown there, because he didn't use his E to close the gap. He was close enough already, and just used his ultimate and then E to execute at the end. So very good understanding of the Wukong boundaries there. Shogun and Taki finally back together in bot lane. And I really want to see what an all-in bot lane is going to look like, because for now it's just a lot of farming down here. Not super exciting.
It did free up Taki to just go for a walk, as we said. Hang on, and engage onto Taki. He gets scooped, but that actually gives him another way to find out. Will fall down to Xin. BJ chasing on the other side. Shogun moving forward. Has that apotheosis as he pulls Xin in. There's a bailout on top of him, but I don't think that matters, as Shogun picks himself up another kill. Play cool getting out. He will be the only one involved in the play that does.
Okay, objective number 1 secure for AS Esports. It's not a perfect game. Oh, good job. You kill Taki. Yeah, it cost everything, but at least you kill Taki.
And let's have a look at the replay here. This starts off with aggression. This is a bad Azir ult, in my opinion.
So Taki used his ultimate relatively early, and oh, it's so sad. Zin ultimate actually clips BeanJ at the end there, and BeanJ last hits his own support. I think he could have gotten out of there if the ultimate doesn't hit BeanJ. If BeanJ steps a little bit to the side, Vi was very close to dying as well.
Hang on a minute. So if BeanJ got the kill, perfect game, still online. Let's go.
Okay, that's unfortunately not how the scoreboard plays.
LLT potentially in trouble, and Taki takes him down.
I love Taki roaming on Seraphine. You don't need Alistar, you don't need Nautilus, you can just roam on Seraphine and Yuumi. We've established this already, so please just play Enchanters.
Oh, Biggie, you are in some trouble here. If he gets snared up, he gets stunned, and what are you doing there, man?
This is actually something I didn't expect to see on Nilah games, because it doesn't really conceptually make sense to play Nilah alone in a lane when she does exactly the opposite with her passive, where she generates extra experience if you group her together with someone. But of course, if you just do that for a few minutes, and then send the overpowered support that has gotten more experience than the normal support would on the top side, while Nilah is strong enough to stay on her own in the bot lane, that's actually a way to play Nilah and profit from Nilah's generated experience that I didn't really foresee, and it's cool to see SGB experiment with these kind of plays. And of course, Taki is a super crucial part of their team composition and also just all of their team movement. So enabling Taki to get to level 7, level 8 this early in the game seems to work out in their favor really nicely.
Yeah, it does seem to be providing that joy unending. How appropriate, of course, as yeah, it is that level 6 that's the most important level, particularly for a support. After that, who really cares?
Yeah, the interest.
Looking again at the top lane. Again, we don't need to look at this matchup. Let's look at the mid lane where Froggy's in some trouble. Has the taunt, but gets Renata ulted to hold it in place. They're going to turn it around as BeanJ arrives. He gives him a magic damage
This
shield.
is not legal.
In they go. SGB are playing on the edge of their limits. Froggy gives them the dance, but does burn down. Zin picking up another kill. BeanJ on the chase. We go look at the bottom lane. Slipstream keeping Shogun safe for now. We go back to the mid lane where Zin has got to the tower. Whew, a flurry of action, and SGB go further and further ahead.
Okay, Froggy is here to smurf today. Yesterday he had a really rough series. He got rightfully criticized yesterday by our casters because Glory completely destroyed him in mid lane, and then also later in the game he had some issues. But here he is on Galio, one of his best champions. He's actually ahead in farm. And what moves he's able to do on Galio, it's always cool to see, because he has such good command over this champion. Just look at how well he's aware of the capabilities of this champion. He turns around, W, tanks for a long time, and then turns with E to bait them in as BeanJ jumps over the wall, just channels his ultimate on 200 HP and only dies because of the ignite. Might have even... Does he get hit by minions? No. He would have died to the ignite anyway. I kind of thought he was inting away into the minions there. Even if he did. Fair play to him. He earned that.
Yep.
In the end...
He earned a little end.
Yeah, in the end, it's just a kill over to Zin, so even more gold for SGB. Top lane dies to BeanJ with an amazing Wukong game. It's kind of annoying to have all of these really good junglers just play Wukong all the time, but honestly, if they play like this, 6-0, what can we really criticize? It's... Yeah, there's a reason why everyone wants to play this champion.
Yeah, he's pretty damn good, but of course so is BeanJ. It's been a huge part of the SGB revival after a slow start to the split. Of course, part of that is that, you know, every team that goes to MSI kind of goes through a slump just due to how it interacts with your off-season. But SGB, they bounce back. BeanJ has been a huge part of that recovery. And yeah, okay, it's up against ASE. It is one of the weaker teams in the league. But still, this is a good sign for them as we move towards that postseason.
Yeah, now let's focus in on a little bit of the postseason potential in terms of drafting for Saigon Buffalo, as they have always been the craziest drafting team, but this new introduction or reintroduction of Renekton into the meta, actually, okay...
Yeah, they've got the Veil, keeping them safe for now. In with the Apotheosis. Shogun, this is a little bit too far. he will get shut down. Taki sang the song to try and get him out. Wasn't good enough. But you know what is good enough? It's calling in the boys. As the rest of SGB have arrived, BJ flashing forward. They want to try and get on top of this Zeri. So far, unsuccessfully. Biggie turning around.
No.
In goes Galio with a knock-up just onto one. They turn it around onto Biggie. Need to get that last little bit of damage. They do.
Yes.
He's being bailed out. Will finally go down. Uji still alive for now. But in come the notes to sing his song. And under the tower, do SGB want to go? Handshake holding them back for now. BJ going low, needs to be careful. And SGB will decide to cut their losses and back off.
Seraphine is just the perfect champion for Saigon Buffalo. Unfortunately for them, it's not the greatest Seraphine on the team. That's definitely Froggy. We have seen him so many times. It's permabanned against him usually. But Taki also trying to get it as a flex option is actually super good. And I want to go back to the point... Oh, never mind. Let's take a look. This is more akin to my experience in Neela, where you think you're strong, you think you can get to Conqueror stacks, and then you just die and don't deal any damage. This is every single game I've played on Neela so far. But it doesn't really matter, she's just the bait here, and the cavalry is there. BJ, you remember he's 6-0 here, so he's actually the biggest threat on the whole map. They are getting super close to shutting him down. In the end, there's too much to work with, and he sneaks away, as they thought they had him. This also baits Uzi in and OG, sorry, and Taki, of course, executing the kill there. But to go back to the drafting discussion, because I think Saigon Buffalo, I mean, they've always been one of the craziest teams in terms of drafts, but opening up the Renekton as a top lane kind of weak side champion, where they just leave Hasmid to his own devices and focus around the mid-jungle duo, leave BJ to invade constantly in the early game, and then also try to establish some of the choices in the bot lane, is going to bode well for their late game, for their playoffs chances, I would say.
For sure. And I mean, look, I think we can sort of zoom out and just talk about splits as a whole. This game, I think, is sort of in the book your way. Overall, what's your take on ASA? How do you think they've done as a mostly rookie team?
Okay, Hasmed should be able to get out of here. Might even go for 1 or 2.
Should be able to. He could. Biggie is very weak as Hasmed flashes forward, gets Azir shoved away. They need to be very careful if he gets his CDs back up. Does he have that slice and dice? No, not quite. It's 5 seconds away now. Hasmed will fall.
That's a very good setup, because Playcool played that very nicely. Playcool definitely one of the revelations, I'd say, from this team. Not like he's the best player in his position or anything, but he's VCS level, and that's all we're really gonna look for in this team. In terms of game score, they've had a really rough season. They started 0-10 in games, and they were competitive in some of them, but usually not quite hitting the consistency. Their early game was a huge struggle in terms of statistics. They were always the worst early game team in the league, even though they had some successful early games against some of the teams. But I would say iterate on the team, and you actually have a decent roster. OG and Playcool are definitely two VCS level carries in the mid and jungle, mid and ADC position. Xin, I think, has been better and better the last few weeks. Started really rough as well. But then the top side probably needs a little bit of adaptation, because LLT and Biggie, Orhyo, both of the junglers, they just can't keep up. Look at this game, 0-5 on one side, 7-0 on the other side. The jungle gap in most of the AS Esports games is just a little too big to really do anything.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that every team in the VCS has to sort of pass the check. Do you have a good jungler? Because we have so many in Vietnam. And if you have a mediocre to bad jungler, this happens every game.
Yeah, the same happened to Flash, right? When they had Dante and... what was the other jungler's name again?
Consigned to the memory hole.
Can't even remember his name, but yeah, they were in huge trouble because their jungler just wasn't on a VCS level, and kind of the same is true for Biggie and Hyo. I honestly don't really understand why they seem to be...
Ikigai. It was Ikigai.
Ikigai, right, yeah. I don't really understand what they're seeing in Biggie over Hyo, honestly. I mean, Biggie's more aggressive, but he's also dying a lot in these games. Almost every game he's dying. If he dies once in the early game, he just chain-ins, which You can understand it's a rookie. He probably just plays a little bit more solo queue style, and oftentimes in solo queue, when you start inting as a jungler, you try to salvage it, and you just double down on the int. It's a little bit like that in his pro games as well. And Xiao was unremarkable, but also a little bit more stable, I feel like. So I'm not entirely sure if I would prefer Biggie or Xiao. I would actually just prefer a different jungler. Try another one next season if you requalify, and just find...
Oh, hey, Yijin might be looking for a team.
Oh, please. Oh, you want Yijin in this team? Oh, okay, okay.
No. I'm joking your way. It was a joke. BJ moving in onto Uji. Biggie is here to cover, but BJ is not committing.
Yeah, a little bit of a lull right now in the game state.
I mean, one of these teams is definitely a lull. But yeah,
what do you want to see? What do you want to see from Nyla in this game? It's a very easy game for her to play. They've probably already won this game. So, what's your dream scenario for this new champion? First game in the VCS ever? What do you want to see?
Unfortunately, I have a name for the Nyla Wukong combo, but I can't say it on cast. I'm gonna say the suck and then there's a third word that I'm not allowed to say, which is I want the 5-man Nyla ult into a 5-man Cyclone.
And 5-man Taki ult on top of that, maybe. Sounds like a cool combo. I would like to see that.
I mean, that's all we're gonna get. Like, that's the biggest highlight we're gonna get, because realistically, actually, like, this game's like turbo.
Yeah, the only real point of strength, I guess, from AS Esports is their mid laner. Once again, good farm, good items, in a decent position to maybe carry 1 or 2 fights later on. And Nyla, if she overextends into overcommitting in a team fight, is an ADC you can single out. She's not Zeri. Once she's in, she can't really get out again. So maybe there's a little bit of a chance for Playcool to carry this game later on in the fights, as Biggie is under a lot of threat again.
Yeah, he's put in the Cyclone. Taken down very low, will fall given a few seconds by the bailout, but that's going to be about it. BJ moving over onto Uji, but has a blast cone to get to safety, but I think SGB now feel confident enough to go slap the Baron.
Taki, once again, amazing steal. Just sneaking the auto attack on the bailout target there, as BJ was already walking away because he knew he had the kill, and Taki just auto attacks for good measure. As Hasmed, oh no, it's the crocodile against Zeri.
Oh, Uji flashing forward, wants this kill real bad, but there is a tower in the way. On the other side, 3-man ultimate out of Taki. Rebel, eat your heart out. As this man's found his accuracy, Playcool has to put up the wall just to get himself out. LLT getting away, Uji as well. They sacrifice one to... they didn't even stop the Baron. The Baron's already gone down. They just lose 1 for nothing.
And OG at least has his 1 second of spotlight in this game. Some good mechanics shown there, some nice kiting. And a little bit of release date diff between Renekton and Zeri. That was almost sad to watch. And I know we have a lot of Renekton haters, but don't wish that fate on Renekton. Playing against Zeri... I mean,
the thing is that if you're a Renekton hater in that moment, you have to be a Zeri liker. And that's worse.
That's worse? Okay.
Oh, not even close.
Yeah,
at least Renekton's fair. As, there is an engage here from Biggie. They should be able to clean Froggy up as he comes out of the Zhonya's. He's going to try and... Oh my god. Yes. But Uji following in. BJ slowed down by the W. Froggy might get out, but does BJ flashing away. Zin wants to follow. Gives him the handshake. Grabs his paws over the wall into the blast.
No!
Can Biggie get on top of him? It's getting really close. Biggie needs to find one more Q. The Renata gas will not get close. Biggie flashing forward, but only lands onto the clone. Biggie dies. Now just dodge the laser and they both get out. Oh my god, just FF.
Oh, they just ended Biggie's whole career and has barely begun. Oh man, Saigon Buffalo's mid-jungle duo, how can you not love them? That was completely unnecessary. That was the overextension of the year, but they get away with it. Froggy just... I love how confidently he always just channels the Grand Escape. Just stands there, channels ult, and walks away. Perfect. Oh man.
It's got the same energy as like what you sometimes do with Scion ult, where it's just like, don't worry, Galio's here to save you, by which I mean, run away!
It's so frustrating if that actually happens to you. Just in front of you, just stands there for a second, laughs at you, and then he jumps away. Oh man, Shogun level 15. Once again, a little bit of a check-in with Nyla. 2 levels of Uzi. My god, why am I calling him that again? I really need to stop.
You're the one that speaks Japanese.
Yeah, I'm sorry. His name just irritates me because of the Z, but yeah. OG, of course. He's our little prince.
Oh, LLT gets a little bit of a bonk. BJ just lurking around. Needs to link up with Shogun so they can put him in the spin cycle. I was given a better version of the name than I'm allowed to say.
Nice.
So,
has she ascended to godhood yet? Is she? Has the apotheosis been successful for Shogun?
I mean, I think SGP might have, as they're absolutely crushing this game. Like, that's kind of ridiculous. I thought you were asking me a lore question for a second there. I got so excited. It's like, oh, Yulei wants to hear about lore.
So, for people who are not very familiar with Nyla as a champion, one thing that's absolutely ridiculous is her pushing power, as you can see her here. Her Q interacts with her auto attacks in a very weird way. It's basically an extra auto attack, but you can kind of stagger auto attack Q on turrets as well. So you get insane amounts of attack speed, and you get the extra damage from the Q, so that's why towers just eviscerate when Nyla ever gets a chance to hit them. Oh no, LT, you don't want to do this. BJ!
BJ moving in, has the spin. LLT does just bounce away, goes Meganar as well. So SGB will just back themselves off. They'll go pick themselves up a third Drake, reset, and try and finish it on the next one.
Very disappointing for SGB to not be able to finish in 17 minutes here. What's going on? We are already 8 minutes over their timer, and they can't even finish here, so... 3 inhibitors down, they should really just walk it in, go for one big... Maybe they want Shogun on level 16 to have the strongest apotheosis they can ever hope for. Still waiting for a big highlight moment for this champion, because...
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, as cool as it is to see the new champion, I don't think it's mattered this game.
Honestly, this is also a little bit of one of my problems with Nyla. She looks like she should be a really cool champion with a lot of pop-off moments. But honestly, she's not that insane in terms of plays or combos or anything. She basically just has a lot of power hidden in her passive, has a lot of attack speed, and deals good late-game damage, but it's not the most exciting champion to play, to watch. It's not Samira, it's not Zeri, it's not the insane Aphelios combo. It's basically just an auto-attacking melee champion with a little bit of playmaking potential here or there.
Yeah, she has a cool weapon though. Gotta give her credit. Whip blades are cool. As B&J is forcing 4 members of the enemy team to rotate to him, and they don't even feel confident enough to engage, but he does, as he just goes in, lands a 3-man knockup, calls in his best friend Froggy for the second round. Biggie goes down, and oh boy, this is a bad day for the Piltover police, as Vi has been getting absolutely farmed. This is going to be the Nexus Towers falling. Do we get a cool highlight moment? Yes, we do! As SGB pick themselves up a few kills under the Nexus Towers. They will take game 1, and Yulei, they are now 1 Nexus away from locking in playoffs.
Yeah, it's the expected dominance from the side of SGB. They